All right, are you prompting me, or am I just going
No,
on?
no, 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 no. I'll prompt you. Yeah. So this would be a dialogue. People will see my face and use, because also like I want people to know like this is what looks like. Ryan is actually talking to Tim in this conversation, not just a fake person. And then what I'll do as well is when your talk is out, I'll to your talk. I'll put this on YouTube and link to your talk as well. People can see, like he actually got the results. I taught one woman yesterday who is a speaker coach. She's effectively a competitor of mine. She works with people just on running the talk, and leaves them completely and utterly alone for getting invited. And so she told me she has a client who has applied for 50 TEDx talks. It's not nothing, not zero, zilch. Like, so there's a lot of people that are working with that can't get results. So I want to prove that I actually can.
No, that was the key. I mean, everything that you had me do was in total preparation for everything that they wanted. You know, it's like they were saying to me, well, look, we're going to be in touch with you along the way so that we make sure that your talk is in the TEDx way. And I knew that that's what you taught me. So, you know, I knew to myself, I said to myself, hey, this is going to be easy because I've just gone through 10 weeks of total preparation for this very thing.
Cool. I might just leave this part in there and like I might just cut this part at the beginning. This is really all right. So maybe I'll introduce myself. So my name is Ryan. I'm speaking to Tim Krass. Tim and I were on York, and we wanted to do this case study video with you because you just got booked like a week ago or something, right? You just found out for sure. Tell you what, or why don't you start us off? Describe like, who is Tim Krass? What was your reason to do a TEDx talk? So yeah,
yeah, I've been a mental health advocate for the last 9 years because personally, it took me 41 years to get properly diagnosed with severe depressive disorder that's reoccurring, and it sparked all of my addictions, which kind of broke up my career. And once I got to the right doctor and got the right diagnosis and remedy, my life did a 360, and I've never felt better in my life. And thus, I wanted to communicate with the rest of the world that they don't have to go through the pain and suffering that I went through. And I wrote a book, and I do a podcast every week, Time Out for Mental Health. And I wanted to do a TEDx talk. And I tried, looking on the website, trying to figure out how to maneuver this thing. What do I need to do? How to do it? What to fill out? What to put in on the applications? Where to find these meetings? I really, I had a little bit of information, but I didn't feel prepared at all. And that's when Ryan and I hooked up, especially on the first intro call. We spent a good 30 minutes, and I totally got that Ryan knew his stuff and that he was the right guy for me to understand and then carry out exactly what TEDx wanted. I appreciated the fact that Ryan had been a TEDx speaker and that he was an organizer. So he made the decision on who makes the TED Talks. So I felt very comfortable with the fact that Ryan was going to walk me through every step I needed and to be prepared. And I didn't even really understand it until we got through to the end. And then I saw the application, and it was all cut and paste because I'd already spent 10 weeks in doing the learning process, which was nothing of what I thought it would be. it took me, I thought I knew the answers. I put them down on paper, and then Ryan, who was very communicative and responsive, we'd talk about it. He'd give me, criticism about it, and I would scratch my head and say, "Hey, I got to go back and look at this." And it ended up that I had to go back, look at it from a deeper angle or different angle. And then it's like I got to the gold. I got exactly what Ryan was trying to convey to me. And it like clicked at every step. There was one after another of all these steps. And, in the beginning, it was a little easy, but in the middle, it started to really get kind of complicated. And I really had to put my trust in Ryan and his process. And again, I would put down information on a Google Doc that we shared and share it with Ryan. And then I'd get back all these notes like, this has to change, this has to change, this has to change. And I'm like, oh no, this is amazing. I got to change all this. But then slowly, piece by piece, as I changed all of it, I saw the relevancy of from top to bottom and how everything fit together, and how that it led me to being 100% prepared to even fill out the application, find what TEDx talks are best for me to target, fill out the application, what needed to go into every box that they ask you questions about. I'd already done the work with Ryan. So I had all the information they wanted. It was all about just packaging it the right way so that per how they wanted it. And I had all this information. I picked out 10 or 12 events, some of them close to me geographically, some not. And then I just waited. I had to wait since I just kept going back to the list of TED Talks that were available, and took a look and did the research on, if they were proper for me based on Ryan's criteria. And I sent about 10 or 12 out, and I got 2 or 3 responses, most of them negative, because I was shooting for TED Talks that were just a few months away. And
okay. Yeah, right. Because they have speakers.
Yeah, and we were looking just for a chance that they might be looking.
Mm-hmm.
But then I saw that my strategy, I needed to go from 3 to 6 months out and start targeting those. And those events were geographically desirable to my location in Los Angeles. And thus, a few weeks later, I got an email from one of the TEDx talks in Wyoming saying, you made the final 10, and now we're going to set up a call with you to determine if you're making the final cut, the final 7. So I was cautiously optimistic. I wanted to do somersaults, but I knew that I couldn't celebrate because the job wasn't over. So I had to prepare myself for that call. And it came right from all the work that Ryan and I did. It was all right there. I just had to piece it together so that based on what they were going to ask, I had everything in front of me. I just had to refer to it. And I'd been working on it for the last 10 weeks. So that felt like a breeze once I was talked to the co-organizers, felt very good about it. And they even provided me positive feedback that my topic was right on. It was perfect for their area. And the area of mental health and depression it needs to be talked about, not just in general, but in their region, in their area, because it's an issue. And that's why they thought it was a good fit for me to be a speaker at their TEDx talk. And I couldn't agree with them more. And a few days later, I got an email saying, "You're in, and congratulations, and we're happy to have you." And, I was really ecstatic. It took me about a day or two for it to melt into my head. But then I really, as I started telling friends and family, it just got more exciting. Like, wow, this is it. I did it. But I still have a couple other applications out there in my geographic area that I still want to be selected as a speaker to. And I think I have a good chance as well, because
you do.
My topic does play anywhere in the world, but especially in the geography and the fact that I'm in the city of Los Angeles. USC and UCLA, two major colleges, they are hosting TED Talks in the spring, and I think I'm a perfect fit for them as well. So I can't say enough about Ryan. I told him throughout the process that he was the best teacher I had ever. Grade school, high school, college, master's degree, because everything was laid out. Ryan was extremely responsive if I had any questions or needed any clarifications. And once a week we had a Zoom call so that we could be face to face and ask questions, and he would clarify. And it just, I felt real prepared for the entire process from start to go. And now I just have to finalize the talk and prepare myself to deliver it.
Can you? So there's a lot of people, lots of people's mental health, right? This is not an unpopular topic. Did you ever feel like that it was too popular, that like there was new that you could say about health?
No, through my research, it was very apparent, especially with the pandemic. The pandemic even made this more applicable, talking about mental health, because the rise in suicides, anxiety, stress, people resigning from their jobs, the issue of diversity, and how much mental health has started to impact everybody, not only in this country, but in the world, and that they just don't know what to do about it. And the fact that most men, they are so in fear when you bring up the words mental health that they want to run. They get into their inner John Wayne, Clint Eastwood act that, hey, I got it handled. I don't have a mental health problem. And I was just doing research, asking them what they do for their mental health. Now, I knew that their answer was incorrect, because it took me 41 years to find the right mental health doctor to correctly do the research for 4 months to evaluate my condition accurately. So I knew what the truth was, but I didn't go into an argument. I was just trying to find out what their reaction was to what they do for their mental health. And it was amazing that, to a T, male or female, everybody said, hey, I got it handled. It's like I felt the walls go up immediately when I asked that question. And I knew then that this is a topic that has got to be talked about. And I started going online and aligning myself with different groups in the country and the world who are focusing on mental health. And everybody was speaking about the same thing, that this is a taboo subject that doesn't get enough airtime, and that people need to talk about it so that we help each other to find out what it is we need to do to manage this issue that we have with mental health, which could be stress, anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, and on and on. And it couldn't, I felt like I was so right on the targeting because I saw this need, especially for men, that they need help, and I needed to prompt them and help them with the narrative from hearing mental health and kind of curling up in a ball to changing the narrative to mental performance, so that a man could relate to that and be open to say, yeah, I can relate to that. I have some mental performance issues that I need help with. So maybe I should talk to some people about this. And that's what the talk is about. And I think it's spot on, because so many people are affected by it, not just men, but the women in a man's life, whether it's in his family, his wife, his child, in the workplace. It's an area that comes up all the time. Men talking over women not feeling that they have a safe environment that's created by a man, so that they can talk about their ideas and what they want to say, instead of being told, sorry, we're not interested in a female perspective here, which is, again, it's not inclusive. And this is what we have to build at home and in the workplace, for everybody to come together and know one another. And either, even though there's a difference in race or gender, it doesn't matter. We're all facing the same issues. And if we come together and help each other, we're like, wow, this guy, even though he's different or she's different, we're facing the same issues. So how can we help each other?
Yeah. One of the things that I think when people are hearing a topic, right, they've got their own topic that they're passionate about, and they may be worrying or wondering if there is a process, or if there is a way that they can do a TEDx talk too, right? So there's your message, but we'll say to somebody who's got a lot of expertise, they know their area, and they're passionate about their subject area. What would you say to them if they're worried about whether or not I can help them do a TEDx talk, right? Or whether or not I can help them identify an idea that's inside them, get them booked like you were booked?
Yeah. There's no doubt in my mind, after going through the process of how you supported me in really narrowing down this idea and belief, and how we wanted to make the audience shift their belief. And what I was kind of amazed at was that, in my mind, I was thinking that this had to be some very complex issue. But every week working with Ryan, I got smarter and smarter about the fact to keep it very simple, about one belief that we're going to make a shift in the audience from where they are now to where they need to be, and to just simplify that one belief shift and tailor everything around that, and that was enough. I even remember asking Ryan, well, do I have enough meat here? Is there enough here? And Ryan immediately came back and said, gosh, this is a big issue, and it has to be explained and talked about. And you've done the work to cover it, and you've done the research, and which is part of Ryan's program. I had to go talk to people. I had to post it on Reddit and Facebook and get feedback. I was constantly getting feedback from friends and family about the topic and my belief and what's going on out in the world. So it just felt better and better as time went on, as I was putting everything together, that I was on track.
Cool. And then actually, one more question I'd love to ask you. So for you, what made, like, what was it that made you decide to actually invest working with me, and actually invest, time and money? You don't have to reveal the price. I might change I might increase the price. but it's, working with me, is a significant investment, and doing a TEDx talk, like actually getting that booking is a significant investment of your time and energy as well. Like, what was it that made TED for you? What made you decide to say, yes, this is a project really worth doing, waiting and hoping, but putting actual effort to?
Well, to be honest with you, I was doing research on other people to be a coach for me. And I had talked to 3 or 4, and it seemed like, I was being sold. And, I'm a salesman, so salesmen don't like to be sold. And, when I talked to you, we had our first 30-minute pre-call, and you were asking me, why I want to do a TED Talk and what are the topics that I'm thinking about, and just your personality and your demeanor. I got that you were invested in me, in what I was doing, and it just wasn't a paycheck for you, but that you were really going to be there. And once I went through, you asked all my questions, and you said, you know what, Tim, you're 95% of the way there. And I just have to help you to put it into this box, the TEDx box, so that it's delivered exactly how they want it delivered. And you mentioned that you were a speaker and an organizer, a co-organizer. So it's like my level of comfortability was at an all-time high. And I said, hey, this is the guy, because he's making me feel good about what I'm doing. He has a feeling that it's a good topic, and that he's going to take me step by step through his process that he's already experienced, both in applying for a TED Talk and deciding what applicants get accepted as a TED Talk. I mean, I kept telling to my best friend that it's incredible. I feel like I'm wired into this because Ryan has had the experiences that I'm going through. So he's sharing all the benefits of his experience with me. And instead of, if I'm over here, he's like, well, we're going to have to move it over here a little because this is what they're looking for. And that was invaluable. I mean, you put me over the top. I got off the phone and said, this is the guy. This is the guy.
Well, thank you for that. How does it feel? Maybe as a closing statement, or if there's anything else to people, but I'd love to feel to get that email that says, Tim, congratulations, you're in.
Yeah, it was a big weight off my shoulders, because the training is a lot, and it's a process, and it's not it's not A to B to C to D through Z. There are zigs and zags, and I started to understand your process, that hey, your first effort is not going to be your best, and that make your first effort, but realize that you're going to have to keep working at it, to hone it, to polish it. And in going through that process, I had a real appreciation when I got that email that said, you're one of the final 10, and we're going to call you to make it final 7. Well, I felt so confident about the phone call because I've done all the work through your program to understand exactly what they wanted, so that I had it all down. I knew a lot of it in my head, and I just delivered it as they asked for it. And everything they asked was really in the program that you taught me. All the questions, the steps, the videos, all the homework, we'd covered it. So I was totally prepared. And you have this little bit of doubt when you get when you put all these applications out and you haven't heard anything yet, and you're like, you know, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? And really, I didn't need to do anything. I had to just keep preparing myself, know my topic, and wait for the right time. You know, I don't control, you know, when the results are delivered. I just have to make sure that I do maximum effort. And with Ryan as my coach, the maximum effort was there, and I felt great about that. So when that email came in, I was like, oh my God, it worked. It worked.
Yeah. You know, it's I think I shared it as we were working together, but I did a man triathlon a couple of years ago, and even to me, I was working, like I have a coach working with, and as I was training, there was still doubts in my mind. Like there's doubt at the moment where you cross the finish line and you realize like I was so prepared this time that I didn't. You don't fully appreciate how prepared you actually are until you cross that finish line. I think it's totally normal. So
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tim. So we're recording this now in October of 2021. Your talk is in late February. So once that's online, it should be a couple of months after the event date. I'll link to that below so people can see your talk as well. And is there anything else you wanted to say in closing to people watching this?
You know, just, you know, from my heart, my sincere appreciation for everything that you do, because like I said, I haven't had a teacher as good as you, because, you know, whether it's high school or college, it's like teachers come in and, you know, they're half invested, you know, maybe 60% invested. It's like they're just punching a clock. But with you, I felt every step of the way that you were with me. And if I had a question, all I had to do was send you a note, and, you know, within hours, I was going to get feedback that answered my question. And that if I needed anything, that you were going to be there. And that's incomparable. You know, there's very few teachers that you find like that. And you gave me that feeling that just propelled my motivation.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. It was working with you. I would love people that action and are keen and they're passionate about message. And you were a great student as well. So this video, I'm going to drop a link below as well for if you want to book the same call that Tim booked with me, run yourself for your own message. And what I do, I mean, for people that don't know, I work with people that either have tried and failed, like applied it and turned out a bunch of times before, or they're just about their overall. They have like the overall mess, the kind of the high level they want to share, but they need some help doing that and making sure the whole is successful and it's guided and it's as easy and straightforward as it could be. So yeah, that is what I do. And with that, I'll stop recording here.